This is Sneaker Gears. My name is Levi, and welcome to another episode of Performance Gears. And this week, I am finally excited to bring you the full review and comparison on the Nike Kobe AD NXT 360. And from here on out, I'm just going to call it the Kobe 360 or the 360. And hopefully that's a little self-explanatory. So let's get right into it. All right, so if you guys don't really want to watch anymore, I can tell you the Kobe 360 is a revolutionary shoe. There is literally every basketball shoe before 2018 in the Kobe 360. And then there's the Kobe 360 going forward. It literally is like BC, and the Kobe 360 is AD for basketball shoes. It is that good. It changes how you think a basketball shoe should be made. It changes how you think the support, the weight, the cushion should react to you. It is unbelievable, and I hate to hype something up. I've been playing with the shoe for about a month now. I've done a couple reviews I just wasn't happy with, and I just wanted to make sure I gave it a full vetting. And needless to say, I've been struggling to not wear the shoe. It is fantastic. So let's break it down, starting with really the upper. This is a contradiction in every terms, and what I mean by that, it is actually a firm upper. It is kind of stiff. It feels plasticky, but it's also very form-fitting. It molds to your foot. It's lightweight. It doesn't feel like anything's on your foot. It feels like maybe it won't quite give you the support you need, but because it's so strong, the support is unbelievable. So the upper is amazing, and I always like to go over fit above anything else, and the fit on this is traditional to every other Kobe. Let's take a look. All right, so some of the reviewers have said, hey, it runs long, had to go to half size down. If you've watched the other pair's review, he actually said, oh, it's not meant for wide footers. Y'all, so let me touch on both bases. So let's see if we can get them toe to toe here, and you guys can be the judge for yourself. If it's lined up, I mean, they are pretty much tit for tat. It's a Kobe. It runs the same thing as a Kobe 8, a Kobe 11, Kobe AD mid. If you wear a 13 in a Kobe, wear a 13. Just like Jay Jones said, if you get that, wear that 10, get that 10. Now, that being said, you could say Kobe's run about a half size long, and you also could say, in general, Kobe's run narrow. This is true with this. Could I fit into a 12 as far as casually if I just wanted to buy it and for style purposes? I probably could, but there's no way I could play in it. I had to get the 13. I definitely had to go that half or full size up since there's originally no 12 and a half just to accommodate the width of my foot. Now, that being said, if you have a wide foot or if you have a high instep, you're going to be just fine. This molds to your foot. And if you go that full size or half size up, you're going to have that space for your foot to fit into that footbed. And you can kind of see that if I kind of turn it around here, you definitely want to be in the bed and not spreading it out. So depending where your foot is wider, from the forefoot or in the midfoot, you're definitely going to go the half size or full size up. If you have a narrow or normal foot, go the half size down. If you have a high instep, what's nice is there's no gimmicks to this. This uses just a traditional lace structure, a traditional tongue. So if you have a wide foot like I do, I actually keep the middle part a little bit loose here, tighten the forefoot and tighten up here, and I'm just fine. So depending where the width of your foot is, where the height of your foot is for your instep, you're going to have an amazing fitting shoe that you really won't even feel. So actually, let's get into support. Now, one point of concern with her, folks, was the support of the shoe. And I can tell you, this shoe is incredibly supportive, but you don't feel it. You don't know it's there. There's nothing on your foot. When you think of a supportive shoe, you think of something like the LeBron 10, where you have, this massive structure. It locks down your heel. You feel the weight of the shoe. You feel it enclosed. This, you don't feel anything. So you have to trust the shoe. Now, I did have one commenter say, hey, he felt the heel was a little unstable. He didn't trust it. And that's just because you got a lot of cushion under your heel. But one, you are really close to the ground. So that eliminates a lot of the stability issues that you may feel just trusting the shoe. Your foot is super close to the ground. It's not really going to roll. Secondly, I know you guys don't know if you heard me. There's 3 heel cups. Yeah, so you have one external. You have one that's kind of internal. And then you have this sucker where your foot actually sits down here. So your foot's not going anywhere. And then if you look at just the way the foot shoe is made, you see the lace structures here. It actually pulls you back into the heel. You are locked in like nothing else. And there's no fly wire, there's no fly knit. It actually uses the knit from one side to the other, and your own foot is supporting you. So when you make that hard cut and that jab, it's the knitting that's pulling on the other side of your foot. So it's a really weird feeling because it's super strong, and it's like your feet have really strong muscles now, and it's supporting those hard cuts and those movements. Now, as far as the additional support that's needed on any basketball shoe, you do have a traditional shank plate that's built into the cushion, and you do have additional wings for that lateral stability. So it has all the support you need. No one's going to be wanting more, but if you feel like you need that heavier shoe, or if you feel like, hey, I need to have something higher up in my ankle, it is something you're going to have to trust. So the support is amazing, but that's the only concern I would give the folks out there saying, hey, if this shoe is for you or not. But let's get into the creme de la creme of this shoe, and that's the cushion. All right, so the cushion of this shoe is revolutionary. Do not believe what everyone else is saying about React in a basketball shoe. The Hyper Dunk was just a poorly executed version of React. If you've used any of their running shoes, if you're going to buy the Kobe 360, have complete faith that this cushioning is unbelievable. It is described very well by another pair if you watch his review, where it is plush, it is soft, but when you do those hard cuts and those hard motions, unlike, say, Under Armour's Charge, where that is supposed to be plush and not really, and then it firms up on hard cuts, so I guess it's supposed to quicken your reaction times. This actually bounces back on those sprints, on those hard cuts. You get that energy return. It has a bit of Zoom feel to it. Now it's not quite as much as like a Zoom Max like in LeBron 15, but you're getting a lot of that bounce back, so it feels incredible. So it's plush when you want it to be, if you're just walking up court, but when you're trying to sprint fast, you feel like it's giving you that energy return. Now on top of that, because it's surrounded by lunar the whole way through, it actually is molding to your foot, so this legitimately gets better the more you wear. The upper is forming, this is forming, and the big thing between React and Lunar is React, Nike has claimed, and again, I've given it about a month of testing, that the React doesn't really break down. It's going to last a lot longer than Lunar. For me, I don't know about you guys, I would only get about 2 to 3 months out of the Lunar midsoles on the Kobe 8 and 9 before they just started feeling like rocks. So this is something, at least in a month of play, I haven't felt any kind of degradation, and I can tell you this is definitely going to last you throughout the season. Now, this is a review and comparison, so I definitely want to go through how you can use this midsole, what other shoes it goes with, and how it compares. So if you've seen some of my other videos, the top 4 things you should know before you buy, or the performance overview, I did talk about this potentially could be the lightest basketball shoe ever. Now, Nike can't claim that, but it kind of is, it kind of isn't, and we'll get into the details right now. Now, the lightest basketball shoe ever made was the Adidas Crazy Light 3, back when the Crazy Light name actually meant something, unlike now. That actually came out, depending on where you read, as a size 9 to 9.3 ounces, I believe. And again, the size 9 of the Kobe 8 was 9.5, so it was 0.2 ounces heavier as a size 9. Now, the Kobe 8 was pretty much better in every single regard, and it was worth those 2 ounces of weight. Now, bring you the Kobe 360. Now, if we're comparing the weights to the Kobe 8, I'm comparing the weights of the shoe without the midsoles, just so we kind of have a fair apples to apples, and then we'll compare the midsoles, and you guys can judge. So this actually comes in at 9.2 ounces, which is unbelievable for a size 13. That is crazy. This, again, on a size 13, comes in at 10.2. It is it's an ounce lighter. That's huge. 10%. You feel it on your foot. And then just the way the weight is distributed. This actually has the shank plate built into the shoe. This actually has a outer heel cup that's plastic, that's in additional to the shoe of the outsole. So very different instructions, a very different feel on the foot of how that weight is distributed. Because this weight is pretty much completely even all the way around, you don't feel it on your foot. Now let's get into the cushion. So the cushion is what really makes a difference. Now the cushion on the Kobe 8 came in at 1.5 ounces, the Kobe 9 1.6. The Kobe 360 actually, with the support and everything in, I think I said in my first video, is quite a bit heavier. This is 4.5 ounces, 3 times the weight. Now, I was much more comfortable in the Kobe 9, so at 1.6, maybe not 3 times, but I mean, give or take, this is going to be a much heavier shoe. So overall, with this being 3 ounces heavier and the shoe being an ounce lighter, you guys do math, it's about 2 ounces heavier. So no, this is not officially the lightest basketball shoe, but because of how this molds to your foot and how the weight is distributed, it really does feel like it. Now, can you use this in other shoes? Do you want to use this in the Kobe 360? Because technically, if you put this in there, it now becomes the lightest basketball shoe ever. And let's get into that. All right, so starting off with the two biggest players, the Kobe 8 and the Kobe 360, the cushion on this, for reasons that essentially it doesn't have the support really, it slides in, obviously, because it's much smaller. But what happens is you do have, I don't know if you can hear that, some side-to-side motion. It's not quite as stable as you would want it to be. You don't have the shank plate. You lose out on some of that heel support. So I wouldn't recommend doing that. I guess you could at your own peril if you just wanted something super lightweight. But the fact is, the React cushioning is so good on this thing. I can't really say you're going to want to, and it feels so light. I don't know if there's going to be a benefit. Now, if you want to go the other way, you're trying to stunt in your Kobe 8. If you have a What the Kobe or whatever you're bringing on court, can you use the 360 cushioning? And I'm happy to say that kind of. I have a wide foot with a slightly higher instep, and it almost worked. So what I mean by that is you can get it in here, and you can see that I'm kind of struggling, and it takes some strength. I'm not going to do it because I'm going to be taking this out for the rest of the video. Once it's in there, as you can imagine, it is raising your foot to kind of an uncomfortable level, but you can still use it. So I was able to play a game with it, and again, I don't know if I would go back to it, but if you have a thin foot, you can get away with it. But again, the fact that the 360 does pretty much everything better, I don't know if there's a reason to do that. Now, the reason you would want to switch this is with the kind of cousin to the Kobe 8 and the Kobe 9. That was the LeBron 11 that brought with it the full-length Zoom Lunar midsole. And let's jump into how these compare. All right, so the Zoom Air midsole with the Lunar on LeBron 11 has been a go-to for a long time for myself and a lot of players. Even people now text me and kind of get at me as far as how they can get this. Honestly, you just have to get the shoe. This fit in pretty much every single Kobe except the 360. Kind of the same thing. It's not quite big enough. It doesn't have the shank plate, doesn't have kind of the support features that you would need. When you put it in there, it's super comfortable because you feel the zoom, and I'll have a solution for that soon. But this does not quite work in the 360. That being said, I don't think you're really going to need it once you try out what comes with it. Now, that being said, if you do have a LeBron 11, these guys are really good combination. And that is if you're looking for a supportive shoe, if you're looking for something with that foam posit, that lockdown, that you like the higher ankle cut, if you just need support because of an injury or whatever have you, the support on this shoe in combination with this are probably giving you the most supportive shoe you can ever buy. And I'm not being facetious. That's legit. I'm trying to do a video on top 5 most supportive shoes, and support being not only the lockdown, but the containment, the lateral, just all features where if you have an injury, your foot and your body, you feel safe. And this combo is crazy. It fits, it works, and I really liked it. But like I said, it is super supportive. So it's not something I would need all the time, but it was nice, say after like a deadlift day where my body's just really wobbly the next day. This was a really nice combination of something that you can work with. So let's jump into the last shoe we're going to compare, and that's the Kobe 9. All right, so the Kobe 9 is actually that beautiful middle ground where it gives you almost all the support of that LeBron 11, especially with the carbon fiber heel cup, that carbon fiber shank in the forefoot, that high top, which is crazy. If you like the lows, I have those as well. But this, with that kind of firm fly knit, was very supportive as well. It felt really lightweight on your foot, similar to how the 360 feels light on your foot, although technically is a kind of a heavy shoe. So that being said, I would love, and I always play even to this day with the LeBron midsole in this. So can you add this to it? We have something that's possibly a better cushion and give you something that's going to give you probably still the best traction out there. This traction is still amazes me every time I put it on. And the answer to that is really just no. When you put this in, one, it's a super hard struggle just to get it in. Literally took me about 10 minutes to shoe. Once it's in there, as you can imagine, kind of same problem. It really lifts your foot way too high, where even if you have a narrow foot or a regular foot, I can't quite see folks getting comfortable with it. It doesn't work on the low top at all just because of the height of the midsole here, whereas the high top, you kind of get away with it just because the thing is high. But even though this would be a nice setup, it just doesn't quite work. But at least you have a nice combination with the LeBron 11 and the Kobe 360. Now, for those fans out there who like the Zoom Kobe's, obviously we don't have any Zoom here. I do have kind of a solution for you guys. So if you really like Zoom Kobe's and you want to have Zoom on your shoe, the only real option is going to be taking the midsole out of the Jordan 2012. That's going to give you top-loaded heel and forefoot Zoom. It fits in there, does have a carbon fiber shank plate in the middle, so it gives you a little bit of support. It actually works okay. And what I mean by that is you still lose out on some of the stability, but it becomes playable. Is it going to give you the same feel and lockdown that this is giving you combo because this is made for each other? Nowhere close. But you do get that bouncy Zoom, which is even bouncier than here, but you're not quite getting that lateral support. You're not quite getting that containment. So it's something that I would use for shoot around just because I like that bounce. And when we were playing, I would slot this right back in here. So technically, if you really didn't want the 360 but wanted the option for Zoom, there is something out there that's kind of halfway, and I hope that helps. And lastly, we have traction. Man, this thing is so light, it's crazy. The traction on this I can best describe in one word, and that is consistent. There is plenty of coverage, heel to toe. They're spaced out decently so you don't get too much dust clogged in. When there is dust, I mean, wipe it down. Once it does start to get a little bit dusty in here, it doesn't just feel like you're on a ice rink or it just gives out in you, kind of like the Kobe 11s did if you had the clear sole on those. I played in the Jordan 32 with the clear sole, kind of the same thing, just starts feeling super slippery where you just don't feel safe playing in it. These always felt good. Even if they were slippery, what happens is they wouldn't bite as hard. They would kind of lose a little bit of that traction, so you still felt confident. So this is very good traction. It is not Kobe 9 traction, but I would say it's probably still a little better than your Kobe 8. When I was wearing these, I was also doing the test for the LeBron 12, where I was wearing the LeBron 11s with that, the Jordan 32s. And it's honestly, this was in that upper echelon. Traction, again, is very good. It's consistent. I don't think anybody's going to have too many complaints on these. If you're playing on a clean court, like any other shoe, it bites like crazy. If playing on a dirty court, it actually just going to feel consistent where it's not too slippery. But again, nothing's like that Kobe 9. Nothing's like a Jordan 28. Those are kind of standouts. So this is not Hall of Fame level. Best traction, if you're looking for that, is really going to be kind of your PG2s. And those are going to give you really, really good traction. So it's kind of funny that your shoe that costs half the price has better traction than this. But overall, this is still really good. And that's probably the only part of the shoe that's not absolutely outstanding. All in all, the Kobe 360 is really a milestone shoe. Much like when LeBron 10 came out with that Zoom Max, that cushioning just took it to another level. Much like when the Jordan 11 came out with that patent leather support, that carbon fiber support, that full-length air. This is something that is going to be changing the game. The way it's made, how it plays, is like no other shoe out there. I don't think anybody's going to wear the shoe and be disappointed. There's things, like I said, you have to trust the support. The traction is going to be really good, but maybe it's not biting if you're saying, hey, I'm spending $200. But this is something that's going to last you the season on court. This is something where that cushion is going to be good for anywhere from a big man to a quick guard. That lightweight on your foot, I cannot say how amazing that feels coming from any other shoe. This is a solid shoe that I think any position can enjoy. And outside of wanting something that's going to be heavier on foot, everyone else is going to love it. Well, everyone, if you like that video, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, hit that little bell below so you guys can get alerted when I have new videos coming out. I'm sorry this review took so long. I actually had some technical issues while out of town. So guys, hopefully this gives you some feedback if you're looking to buy some new colorways coming out for the 360. It's worth it. Get it, love the shoe. This is one of those I'm really hoping to get multiple colorways, and I'm really happy I was able to land on this. This is the next stage of basketball performance. Nike really hit a home run. Guys, this is Levi with Sneaker Gears. Really appreciate you guys. Please follow me on Instagram. Obviously, subscribe down below. If you have any questions or comments, put them down. I do my best to get back to you guys as quickly as I can. Really appreciate you, and I'll be back soon.